Good morning. This is Terry Powell. It's the beginning of October 2025, and I'm officially retired from the federal government with nearly 39 years of federal government service. I'm retiring in conjunction with the Deferred Resignation Program, known as the DRP, which basically I was put on paid administrative leave and received pay for 5 months until the end of the government's fiscal year, which was 30 September. And now I'm officially separated from service. So I thought it'd be a good time to do a video on federal government retirement and in my history with the federal government. Unfortunately, it comes at a time when the government's going into a shutdown. But anyway, we made it through the end of 30 September per the DRP agreement I signed. So essentially, this video is going to cover the Federal Employees Retirement System, known as FERS. And it has 3 parts. There's 3 legs to a stool that props up a federal retirement. Your Social Security, your FERS Annuity, which is kind of like a pension, and then your TSP, the Thrift Savings Plan, which is kind of like a 401k plan in the private sector. Anyway, I started with the federal government at the end of 1986 as a co-op student when I was going through Georgia Tech, alternating school and work quarters. So basically I started when I was 18 and a half, going on 19 years old, and I'm now at my minimum retirement age, approximately 57 years old, and I'm able to retire with a full, unreduced federal retirement. So I look forward to sharing that with you today, and also going over some of the awards and experiences I've had throughout a 38.5-year career with the federal government. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Basically, I had a career at 2 agencies, the Department of Defense and the Department of Transportation. And really, there were 3 organizations under those 2 main divisions. There was the DPW, Director of Public Works at Fort Stewart, where I was there for about 14 years. And then I was 14 years at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Savannah District, in Savannah, Georgia. And then the last 10.5 years was with the Department of Transportation in the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. Anyway, it's been a great career, and I look forward to sharing my knowledge about it with you. Thank you. There's a 3-legged stool that props up a retirement. On the outside, it's Social Security, your personal savings, and an employer-provided plans. With the federal government's retirement system, there's also a 3-legged stool that's made up of your FERS Annuity, Social Security, and the TSP. FERS stands for the Federal Employees Retirement System. And the FERS Annuity, the first leg of the 3-legged stool, is known on the outside as a pension. And I'm going to go into the details of how you calculate that later. Social Security is just like it is for private employees, except for with the FERS system, for those who retire at their minimum retirement age, typically age 57, give or take a few months. You need to bridge the gap between age 57 and age 62 when you would be eligible for Social Security. So there's something called the Special Retirement Supplement, SRS, also known as the FERS Supplement, that bridges the gap for those 5 years until you reach the earliest date you can draw Social Security. And then the 3rd leg of the stool was the Thrift Savings Plan, TSP. It's akin to the 401k plans in the private sector. And you'll see the acronym MRA used a lot. That's the minimum retirement age. In my case, since I was born in 1968, there's a table that shows that my minimum retirement age was 56 and 8 months. For most people, it's around age 57. But if you've got the number of years, it's not really considered an early retirement. It's a full unreduced retirement where you'll get your full annuity and all the benefits. So anyway, that's the three-legged stool under the FERS that props up your federal retirement. The FERS calculation of your annuity amount, basically your pension, is your years of creditable service times a multiplier. For people under age 62, it's 1%. But if you're 62 and you've got enough years of service, you could get the 1.1 multiplier. So for that reason, a lot of people try to make it to age 62. And then the third factor in the calculation is your high 3 annual salary. They take your highest 3 salaries. They don't have to be consecutive, but they usually are at the end of your career. And they divide by 3 and come up with your average high 3 salary. So in my case, an example, I have approximately 39 years of creditable service times the 0.01, that's the 1% multiplier, times my high 3 salary, which is approximately $145,000 a year. So that would come up with an annuity of $56,550 per year. You can divide that by 12 to get your monthly amount. It's just over $4,700 a month for the FERS annuity, basically your pension. And like I mentioned, for those with over 30 years of federal service who retire at like age 57, for example, you need something to bridge the gap until you're eligible for Social Security at 62. So there's a FERS Supplement that's really technically called the Special Retirement Supplement, SRS. And anyway, the way that's calculated is you take your creditable length of service divided by 40, and you multiply it by the Social Security you would be able to draw at age 62, which you can pull up your Social Security statement and get that amount. Like I say, this bridges the gap. This supplement bridges the gap between ages 57 to 62. And at that point, at age 62, you could start drawing Social Security, or you could wait. And you could draw a lot more if you wait until you're older, like 67 or 70. Some people wait to get a lot larger amount. But anyway, the way you would calculate it, in my example, 39 years of creditable service divided by 40, which is over 97%, almost 98%. And then I actually, even though I had 39 years with the government, I worked summer jobs since age 12, going back to 1981. So I've got, my statement shows that I would draw just over $2,600 a month, Social Security at age 62. So you divide 39 by 40 and multiply it by 2,600, and you'd see it'd be $2,535 a month, approximately. And going back to this slide, to add it all up, the third leg of the stool is the Thrift Savings Plan, TSP. Again, it's kind of like a 401k where employees can contribute a portion of their income before tax and sometimes receive matching contributions from their agency. With the federal government, it's 5% match. So that's like free money. I recommend everybody contribute the minimum to get the 5% match. And like I say, doing it for as many years as I've got with the federal government, you should have somewhere $800,000 to $1 million at least if you invested wisely. They have different funds. There's a G fund, which is very little risk, but it doesn't make as much. The C fund is like the common stocks. It's like being in the stock market. You can make a higher rate of return, but there's a lot of risk. You could have years when it could go negative. And then there's like F funds where the bonds and things like that. But or you could do the life cycle funds, have a target date when you need your money, and they there's very little fee, and they have managers that'll spread it around your portfolio allocations. Anyway, it's a very good plan, and it's and later once you retire, you could elect to roll it over into a IRA, an individual retirement account, or there's various things you can do, or you could just leave it in the TSP to keep growing. So anyway, that's your three-legged stool. You would add together that FERS Annuity, your Social Security, or the supplement if you're not quite Social Security age eligible, and then your TSP, your savings, and that's your total retirement package from the federal government. This is my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Georgia Tech, 1991. Notice it was the cooperative plan, the co-op education plan between Fort Stewart, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Here's my Master of Science in Management degree I received from the University of Maryland University College in 2007. In 1998, I received my professional engineering license. In 2003, I completed the Army Management Staff College Sustaining Base Leadership and Management Program, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Here was my Commander's Award for Civilian Service for Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, 2011 through 2012. Here's an Administrator's Award I received for completing the Advanced Leadership Development Program, ALDP, in 2022. In 2023, I received a Team Award for Innovation on the construction team with the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. This is a certificate I received for 35 years of federal government service. At the time of my retirement in 2025, I had 38 and a half years. But you only get a certificate for 5-year increments, so I didn't quite reach my 40 year. I had nearly 39 years of creditable service when my unused sick leave was added to my calculation. As you can see from these gifts my wife made for me over a year ago, I've been dreaming about planning for my retirement for years. She made me a pair of pants that says "One leg towards retirement," a retirement thinking cap. T-shirt says "When I grow up, I want to be retired." An exercise journal, exercising for a long and healthy retirement. A daydreaming about retirement blanket. And a countdown with a number of days until my retirement. And I'm finally down to 0. Finally made it. I appreciate the gift and all the support I've had my 38 and a half years. I finally made it. Hope you enjoyed the video.